Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to continue talking about traveling. So, first, think about where you have traveled. Which is your favorite trip and why? Think about this so we can share in class. Okay? Great. Now let's continue. I want you to please read this conversation between two friends. They are talking about Lucy and what she's planning to do. Please find out where she's going to travel and when her trip is going to be. Pause the video while you read the conversation. Okay, great. So if you noticed, Lucy is going to go to Rome next month. Now, today we're going to learn how to report questions and also instructions. So, I need you to please think about how these instructions or questions were reported in the previous conversation. Pause the video if you need to, and if you need to go check the previous conversation, please feel free to do it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check. So, we have the question: what are the best hotels in Rome? In the conversation, it was reported as she asked me what the best hotels in Rome were. One of the instructions was double check the time you have to be at the airport. And he reported as I told her to double check the time she has to be at the airport. Remember to take pictures. Don't worry if the pictures are not perfect. Was reported as I reminded her to take pictures, but not to worry if they were not perfect. So, we're going to take a look at this. So, when we report questions, we are going to use the word order of statements or sentences. And we do not use question marks. Look at the first question. Are you married? In this case, we know that it is a yes no question. So, we're going to report it with the words whether or if. We can say, in this case, people often ask me whether or if I am married. Now, when you have an information question, like what do you take with you or why shouldn't I use the hotel shampoo, remember we're going to use the order as in a sentence. We ask people what they take or what they took with them. She asked me why she shouldn't use hotel shampoo. In this case, you realize that we are using subject and verb or subject modal verb, the way we would usually do it in a sentence. Now, let's take a look at the second part. It's remember that we do not need to shift back the verb tense when we are reporting information about the present or future that is still true or relevant. If you look at the first question, are you married? I reported as people often ask me whether I am married. Why? Because this is relevant for the present. Look at the examples here. Do you have kids? I have two. A woman asked me if I have kids. I told her I have two. You know, this is still true. It's relevant to the present. So that's why we're not doing the back shift. Now, where are you going on your next trip? He wanted to know where I am going on my next trip or where I was going on my next trip. It could also be, right? Here, since it is relevant, it's true for the future, it's not necessary to change it. Now, whenever you have instructions or you receive instructions and you want to report them, we're going to use an infinitive after verbs like ask, tell, order, advise. When we want to report a request like a favor, a suggestion, or like I mentioned, an instruction. Can you lend me a flashlight? If you notice here, we're making a request, we're asking for a favor. My sister asked me to lend her a flashlight. Don't use hotel shampoo. Instruction. A friend told or advised me not to use hotel shampoo. Please notice that in generally we use if more commonly than whether, especially when we are in conversation. Now, let's go ahead and practice. Look at the instructions or questions. Please choose the correct reported question or instruction. For example, don't leave without your sweater. She told me not to leave without my sweater, or she told me to not leave without my sweater. Which one is correct and which one is not correct? Pause the video while you think about this. Okay, so let's go ahead and check. She told me not to leave without my sweater. That is correct. She told me to not leave without my sweater is not correct. Please notice the position of not. We use not before the infinitive, not in the middle. Where did you go last Saturday? He asked me where I went last Saturday. That is not correct. He asked me where I had gone last Saturday. Remember here, we are doing the back shift because we're using past. How many years have you been married? She wanted to know how many years I have been married. Is correct. She wanted to know how many years I had been married. In this case, it is not correct because if we say that she wanted to know how many years I had been married, it means that I already divorced. I'm not married anymore. Last one. Are you going to the party on Friday? He asked me whether I was going to the party on Friday, or he asked me if I was going to the party on Friday. They are both correct. Remember, if or whether, we can use them both. Great. Now let's go ahead and practice. Let's go to our student book, page 109, exercise B. Here we're going to report what Lucy and her friend Sally were talking. Okay, they are packing for a trip. So we're going to complete this. For example, how many bags are you taking? Sally wanted to know how many bags she is taking or was taking. Both options would be correct. Now pause the video and work on the rest, then come back and check. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and check. Are you taking your running shoes? Sally asked Lucy whether or if she is taking or was taking her running shoes. Both options would be correct. Then, put the shoes in a plastic bag. She told her to put the shoes in a plastic bag. Why do you always take a pillow? Sally wanted to know why she always takes or took a pillow. Does it have to be that pillow? She asked Lucy if or whether it has or had to be that pillow. Don't pack too much stuff. Sally advised her not to pack too much stuff. Okay, guys, did you have the same? Excellent. Now, let's go to workbook page 76, exercise A. Here, we are going to um, report here the questions or the instructions. For example, it says, do you always travel with just one bag? People often ask me. Since it is a yes no question, we should use if or whether. I always travel or traveled with just one bag. Since this is relevant to the present, you could still use simple present or you can do the back shift. Number 2. Don't drink green tea before an overnight flight. My wife advised me not to drink green tea before an overnight flight. That's correct. Now pause the video and work on the rest, please. Okay, guys, remember to also work on these sentences 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, excellent, guys. We're going to check this during class. Finally, let's work on exercise C. Here, we need to complete 4 things you could ask a frequent traveler and complete 2 pieces of advice to travelers in your country. For example, I would like to know if, can you tell me how, can I ask you where, etc. Remember to have this ready before class so we can use it in an activity. Okay, guys, I will see you in class. Bye bye.